Hi, my name is Tanisha Simpkins. I want to invite you to tune in to the Table Talk Radio Show, where we'll be having candid conversations about politics, education, fashion, reality shows, what's trending, and more. I want to hear what you have to say. No subjects are off limits. Grab your coffee and tea and let's talk. I'm your host, Tanisha Simpkins. Welcome to the Table Talk Radio Show. I'm your host, Tanisha Simpkins, and we have our guest co-host, Pastor George Rich.
What's up, everybody?
Hello, and we're back.
Yeah.
The Table Talk Radio Show is about candid conversations, a form of candid conversations from politics to religion. Table Talk is your go-to resource to just simply talk it out, and that's exactly what we do, guys. Here, we just talk it out. You know, there's so much that's going on.
There's a lot going on in the world right now.
You know, I was trying to put an agenda of what we're going to talk about, but it was just too much at the moment. So one of the things that I do want to talk about, which is the actual hot topic. Now, this was just recently, and it was about the Indiana Police Department.
Yes.
It was a young man who refused to get out of the car.
Yes.
Because of his seatbelt.
Because of his seatbelt. Yeah.
Now, some would say, I did have some that said, well, you know, Tanisha, they asked him more than a few times why he just didn't get out.
Several times.
I
I think that he was trying to be tough with the police officer.
Tough?
Yeah, certainly. And when a police cop stops you and he asks you to step out of the vehicle, in some states that's actually law that you have to follow their instructions. Now, I do think that they use excessive force.
Yeah. Yeah.
And tasered him.
I think they were scared. The little boy was in the back. I don't know if it was two kids or one kid, but it was a child in the back that was actually videotaping.
Yes.
You know,
the whole thing.
And the woman, the girlfriend, perhaps she was scared. She was like, I don't know what to do, just give me, or whatever. But he was trying to play like, I know my rights.
Correct.
Give me a white shirt cop.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't have time for that. So right then, a police officer assumed that maybe something is going wrong, going on, or, it may be suspicious. Why can't you just get out of the car?
Yeah, and when they actually stop the car, they place spikes in front and in behind of the car so that they can't leave. So I don't know whether it was something with the plates when they ran the plates and the owner of the car that made them so aggressive.
Yeah. Normally times when a police officer get behind you, they are running your information. Point blank. They run your information and they run it to see like the person who's driving the cars, if they have suspended license. It's going to tell them if they have suspended license. It's going to tell them
if it's
a stolen car. It's going to give them a lot of information. So they're not stopping you just to be stopping you.
Correct.
I always tell people that if you 54, that's if you good, then you good, right? Can I say that?
Yes. But if you 38, then you 38.
If you're not good. So the message to that, if the police officer gives you information, just go along with it. I don't see the problem. Now, the problem would be if you have some type of issue.
Correct.
So you got a problem automatically. You don't want to go to jail.
True.
Perhaps.
Now, the flip side of that is, of course, had this family have been of a different race, would the officers have been so aggressive? And that's what one side of the fence is saying is that because they were black, you got the spikes, you got the glass breaking, you have the tasering of the man, not once but twice.
But everything is becoming race related now.
Yeah.
I mean, every situation that's going on, it has to do with, is it because it's white or black? We have this situation now with, it's not a situation actually, is Dr. Cornel West. You can love him or you can hate him. You know what I mean? And you can do both. I do both with him.
Okay.
Sometimes I can stand him, and sometimes he's too much. Very educated brother. Like
Yes,
he
very.
uses big words, you know, that you got to look up after you finish, you know, hearing what he has to say to make sure he didn't actually offend you, you know, seriously. So he wrote a book, The Pathetic Fire, and he's talking about us in black color, the black race, African American race, however you want to define yourself. And he's saying that once we've gotten to a status that we need to re-niggerization, that we're not actually perhaps helping others, or we're not doing our best. You know, my thing about it is, don't get me wrong, y'all. Don't make me responsible for the entire race.
Correct.
Okay, if we do our part, I'm sure people who have money do their part, you know, as far as helping the community. One person who was actually so mad was Tom Joyner. He was hot. And then on Today, he had an interview with Roland Martin on his show. Tom didn't say a word. You hear me? He didn't say a word. Wow. Because he's referring to those people, which is him who has status. And of course he does a lot. Yes. You know, a lot of people do a lot. But how much is
more
enough?
Can you do?
Yeah, how much more can you do? How responsible as a person? You know, when I get my millions, I don't want to be, you know.
I know folks
gonna call you.
Like, you know? I need to share it with everybody just because I got $1 million.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my part. Trust me, I'm gonna do my part. Because I always said if I was philanthropy, I would give so much money away. I would. But don't make me responsible. Like I should feel guilty because I excelled.
Yeah. There is something that's called individual responsibility. I have what I have. I am where I am because of some decisions that I've made. Yes, we know that sometimes systems can put us at the short end of the stick, but we still have the ability to make right choices, and we can become that millionaire. I think that is also has to do with a with a handout mentality that sometimes creeps into our culture that we have.
Yeah. So I don't know. I know the situation. Well, the actual book itself is already sold out. You know, because of the highlighted word.
Because I think that the word
so
is.
So folks want to know, well, what does reniggerization mean? I got to redefine myself.
I would like to know what is the demographic that's actually purchasing the book.
It's going to be probably the other side because they want to read. They want to study. You know, it's a study method because one of the things that he does, I'm an American history reader, guys. I like to read, and I like to read American history. I have a book probably so big. I have different stories in there from John Brown to W.E. Du Bois, and he has these people speaking. And he has, what's the guy? Frederick Douglass, which I'm on the fence about him. So he has different people that he's getting information from that's redefining the word reniggerization. Reniggerization. You know, why do I have to be called a nigger? First of all,
yes,
but
correct.
My name is Tanisha Simpkins. I want to invite you to tune in to the Table Talk Radio Show, where we'll be having candid conversations about politics, education, fashion, reality shows, what's trending, and more. I want to hear what you have to say. No subjects are off limits. Grab your coffee and tea and let's talk. I'm your host, Tanisha Simpkins. That's all I'm saying.
Let's leave the labels, right?
Yeah, that's another thing about labels.
Sound like Raven.
Raven-Symoné. Did you read it?
Yes, I did. She has. Well, is Raven-Symoné actually? Is she gay as well?
Yes, she is.
Okay, so you know she's dealing with multiple labels right now. And she's saying, listen, I don't want to be a label. I am not an African American. I've never been to Africa. I don't know what Africa, is and culture. And she just wants to be called a human being. No no color, but just a human being?
You know, how did I feel about it? I'm okay with it because that's her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we all go through that series of identity. You know what I'm saying?
so she's going through an identity crisis.
Yeah, there's an age that we go. You know, you study psychology. There's an age of identity, right?
All right.
There's a certain age that you go through. It's normally during your young adult years that you're trying to find your identity of where you're from. And I say that because I didn't tell my brother, because he came back on it and he defended her.
Okay.
But when he defended her, I was like, he's kind of like just like her. I don't want to say weird or strange, you know. Sorry, Alan. But I put my folks out there a lot. But he's in that. I'm not African American. I'm an American.
Yeah.
You know, I know who I am. I know my ancestors. I read. I know other religions.
Yes,
you know,
he's a well-rounded individual.
Yes.
So you can't box him in.
And that's what she's trying to say.
You know, it's.
Do I agree with it? I'm proud to say I'm African American. I've never been to Africa. I would like to go to Africa.
Me too. I am proud to say that I'm African American.
But I still want to recognize my descendants. I have no problem with that.
Correct. I think that we cannot get around the fact that we all look different, and we have a different like background, a different culture, a different context that we come from. And I don't think that the world has to be to a place in where we imagine that we don't see color.
Yeah. And the gay part. She's not gay. She's just happy.
Oh no, you're gay. And if you're gay, just say you're gay. You know, like you don't have to undefine something that's already been defined.
Already been defined. Right. I don't know. Well, I just hope that she gets it. You know, I hate to say that people only get it when they get into a certain situation.
When you
like
need
Woods,
that context to help and support you.
Or
and
they're
help
one of
you out.
those, you know, people who, you know, get into certain situations where everybody else say, now you're black.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And, you know, I hate to see that happen because someone's going to approach her in regards to someone is going to approach her. Trust me, you know how we are. I remember, you know.
We don't have to call out your blackness.
Yeah. Someone may approach her.
So do you think that it's the money that she has and her friends and her influence that's kind of swaying her toward this no color, no label?
I think it's the friends. I think it's the I don't want to be labeled because I have a problem with labels also.
Okay.
But that label I'll take.
Yeah.
You know, and also I don't know if she's biracial or not. But I know a lot of them who are biracial don't like to be categorized as just one race. You know, even though whatever percentage you are that race. Well, black that is. So I think it has a lot to do with even her surroundings. You know, I don't want to put myself in a box and say I'm just all black.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So hi, my name is Tanisha Simpkins. I want to invite you to tune in to the Table Talk Radio Show, where we'll be having candid conversations about politics, education, fashion, reality shows, what's trending, and more. I want to hear what you have to say. No subjects are off limits. Grab your coffee and tea and let's talk. I'm your host, Tanisha Simpkins.